yourself and etc.
Hello, my name is AlaynaL, senior PM design student, and I did my Zenith project like physically with pants and a bucket hat. So, some ideas I had for this Zenith project were mostly physical. I had the ideas of doing the things I did before, which include glass painting, air dried ceramics, jewelry making, mixed media painting, crocheting, and clothes bleaching, which I've done before. And I had that in mind. I had the idea of clothes bleaching as one of them that I really wanted to do with this project, but I decided upon embroidery and painted clothes because I had never tried it before, and I thought this would be a really good opportunity to try it and also do some painted clothes. Next slide. So why did I choose that specifically besides the fact that I didn't do it? Painting backpacks, okay, this is like, it's really cliche because I'm pretty sure a lot of people get into embroidery because of this, but it's just because I saw it. I didn't know it was a cliche at the time, but there was a person that I met from a Key Club event that actually had this, and they were talking about, they're like, whoa, like, that's super cool. Like, someone was like, yeah, my friend embroidered it for me, and that's where I heard embroidering. I thought it was just like some type of sewing, like with a sewing machine before, until I heard that from a Key Club event, and I researched it, and I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't try it at the time, but I thought it was so cool. And then for painted clothes, I had this idea of doing a like ocean wave sort of thing on this really blank sweatshirt I have, because it's really big and I just thought that'd be pretty cool. So that's where I got the idea of my wave thing, which I'll show later. So brainstorming, here's my mood board that I created, and yeah, so the wave idea, I was inspired by this style of wave, so like the gradient from like one color to another was a big inspiration. I used these pants as like another thing to like show what I wanted to do, which was like acrylic and embroidery at the bottom of a pair of pants instead of like throughout the entire pair of pants. And the bucket hat, I wanted to do it on the edge of the bucket hat, so on the hood of it. And I was inspired by like doing this sort of Van Gogh sort of embroidery. So in this case, this is a running stitch, so it's like in and out sort of deal for the embroidery part. Okay. Deadlines was a very big thing. I didn't predict this beforehand because there was a deadline to make the deadlines crazy, and I didn't predict I was going to LA and UCSD, like a trip that my parents planned out after I made the deadlines. So this was really, I wasn't prepared for it. So I really struggled with the deadlines for this because I was gone the entire week of break, and I couldn't bring paint and all of my materials with me. So that was a big part of this, which is why later I'm going to get into the self-learning process of this. So anyway, sketching. Here's my little sketch I did on Photoshop, and of the general idea I had for this project, which I think I executed pretty similarly, I hope. And I have a black pair of pants and a black bucket hat that I used for this, and I sketched out my design that I kind of stole from this original sketch I did on Photoshop to move onto here with like, I didn't have chalk, so I just used like a pastel thing I had. So I used pastel to like sort of mark out the places.
Works.
And then painting, I did a white base first because the black was pretty black. It was pretty dark. So I did a white base first on where I did the waves, and then I did it on everything, so including the bucket hat and the pants. And then I went on to do a blue sort of, I made a blue. I got like a full thing of blue, but it was the wrong color, so I poured all of it into a bin. You can kind of see it on the side. That was part of like the oops. I just poured an entire thing of paint into a Tupperware. But anyway, that's besides the point. I did that, and then next slide. I also did some sort of purple gradient thing on the pants and the bucket hat using a fan brush, and yeah. And then afterward, I decided to sketch back on the stars where I had it originally. Luckily, I took progress photos. So when I took the photos, I realized that I would have to redraw them back on. So thankfully, I took good progress photos because then I wouldn't have been able to draw it back on. And then the embroidery process was, oh man, it was really tough. And for this part, I did continue to use a running stitch, but I also used a back stitch for my star design. I sort of changed it from what I originally had in mind. And on the pants, I did like a bigger star design here. And on the bucket hat, I did a smaller one just to deal with the amount of space I had on the bucket hat and on the pants. So you can see that the stars are a little bit different just because I thought it would be better to add more details onto the bigger one. And I also added some sparkles sort of things with the French knot technique, and just more back stitching techniques for the other 3 sort of lined sparkle. And then the cleanup. This is a really messy photo. I took so many photos of this because I was like, man, I'm gonna have to deal with this later. So here's what it looked like before I tried cleaning it up. So a bunch of knots, a bunch of stray threads, but then I decided, okay, this may come apart, so I'm gonna use some super glue. My dad gave me a super glue for this. And then I super glued it, and since the bucket hat, you can see the rim, I decided to paint it over, I decided to paint black over it, so then you wouldn't see it as much. And for photos, only if you're like up close to my face, then you would see it, but overall, you wouldn't see it. So yeah, I think this is a good idea. And with that, that's also a part of my self-learning. I didn't really know how to do this on the black part, like use pencil and draw on the stars again. So I used a jelly roll pen. I used a white jelly roll pen to be able to draw it right directly onto the black. And another part of my self-learning process, this is a big part, by the way, if you couldn't tell by how big this photo is. But my thumb, when I started doing the embroidery like a little bit before, I got Invisalign for the first time. So I've been starting to take out my Invisalign with this thumb specifically, and it broke. It broke my thumbnail. And then when I started doing the embroidery without a thimble, because I didn't know I had a thimble, I entirely broke my nail bed, like the top part of it. And then my mom gave me a thimble, and this is me being happy. So that's what that's about. And then this photo, another part of my self-learning process was trying to like put the needle in and out, because I was like, it was such a mess trying to like look through the bottom, try to find the hole, and then you put it through, and then you mess up, and then you keep doing it. So my technique was using a needle that was the same size as the needle I was using, putting it in, and then I feel through the bottom and then put it through. So I had a lot of self-learning and like figuring out my own way to be able to accomplish my troubles during this. And then final photos. Thankfully this photo is not upside down. So yeah, so here's me at one of my local churches taking photos. This one's blurry, but you didn't know that. You didn't have to know that. This is what my final bucket hat and pants look like.
Did you bring them?
I did bring them.
Oh, well then let's see them.
I'm very proud of it. I didn't wear it because I was like, I don't know.
Well, you certainly could have.
I could. I was rushing out of the house again. I keep doing this to myself. It's senioritis, honestly.
It is.
But like,
trust me, the teachers are well aware.
I did the super glue thing on the pants too, but yeah. So,
I hope all juniors are paying attention.
My pair of pants. I'm turning this into a humor project, honestly. So, here's my pair of pants. Here's my bucket hat. I worked really hard on it. If you're really far, you can't see this, thankfully. But
put it on. It's adorable.
And then one more slide. Yeah, it's just me posing. I tried. Honestly, I tried. But yeah,
I love
this is me with the actual things on. With the bucket hat and with the pants on. So, yeah.
All right, let's open it up for some comments and questions. We'll do clapping afterward. Let's do comments and questions. And I expect comments and questions.
Yeah.
I thought the idea of having cold water on the bottom was kind of cool. It feels like when you walk in the water with pants on.
Yeah.
Very good idea. Very good observation.
The back embroidery was
easier? It was about what I expected. Time-wise, I'm not sure. I mean, I had a lot of stuff I needed to do, and I didn't really prioritize the Zenith until the very end, because I just had a lot of other stuff I needed to complete. A lot of late work, and then the late work deadlines. Oh, so fun. Yeah, so I think with the time, I would probably give myself more time to work on this. And
So are you saying that 9 weeks would have been more time, would have been enough time?
I feel
if
like it
you-
would have.
Because it should have.
Yeah, if I didn't have a bunch of random
Right.
deadlines thrown at me, yeah,
Right.
I feel like
Okay.
it would have been enough time.
Okay.
But yeah, great job, because embroidery is a very tedious process, and I really like how you repeated the patterns so that they would match together rather than doing like two separate things. I think just making it a cohesive outfit looks really nice and put together.
Thank you.
I agree.
Do you think you'll ever like realistically wear these pieces, or is it more like what people in art?
Honestly, yeah. I think I would wear the bucket hat, like, and maybe the pants. I like rolling up my pants. You can see in the photo. I like rolling up my jeans. So it may not look exactly the same as it does, like, just naturally without it being folded up. But I think I would wear it still.
I think they'd
Yeah.
be super fun for concerts or something.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Do you think you'll ever create more stuff like this in the future, like just for fun maybe?
I had a slide about that, but I was like, that's a lot of words. So I didn't add it, but yeah, I would totally do this as a hobby. If I come up with another idea, like, that would be a good embroidery project, I would probably do it again.
I was just gonna say, I think this is also really well translated onto like a shirt with the sleeves. It's like kind of things that
Yeah.
are full.
So she could roll up the sleeves too, to match the bottom of the pants.
Yeah.
I love it. All right, anybody else? Good commentary. Jake, turn off your screen. I don't know what you're looking at, but it's very obvious. So please do that for me. All right, round of applause for Alayna. Good job.